Good evening, everybody. We'll call to order the Tuesday, February 26, 2019 regular meeting of the Mason County Board of Commissioners. We'll begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. George, if you'll please lead us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And if the clerk would please take roll.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Sharon Trask. I'm here.
Very good. Thank you. Item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. If the clerk would please report the correspondence.
Homes First sent in their 2018 annual report. The Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent liquor license applications for North Mason Senior Grad Night being held at the Hub, 111 Northeast Old Belfair Highway in Belfair, and one for the North Bay Historical Society holding their event at the Allen Waterfront Park, 18560 State Route 3 in Allen. The United States Department of the Interior Bureau of Indian Affairs sent notice of application filed by the Skokomish Indian Tribe to have real property accepted in trust for the following parcels: 42111-43-00000, 42235-32-00060, 42235-31-00090, and finally 42235-31-00091.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Moving on to item number 5. It's our open forum for citizen input. It's an opportunity for members of the public to address the commission on items that are not on today's agenda. Is our practice here. We have a 3-minute per person limit with a 15-minute total. Seems like there may be a few people that want to speak tonight, so maybe we'll be a little bit more relaxed on the overall time. But if you could just be mindful of keeping your comments brief and allow as many people to speak as possible, I think that would be best. If you're interested in addressing the commission, just come to the podium, say your name and where you're from, and the chair will recognize you.
My name is Candace Gadley, and I'm from Collins Lake. I'm here trying to get you all to support a leash law in Mason County. We moved to, I put this in there so and you can read it later, but I'm going to go over a little bit. We bought property at Collins Lake in 2004. And one of the first things I did was walk my 2 little dogs around the lake, and only got halfway around, and bam, I ran into a great big dog. Scared us, turned around, went back. Welcome to Mason County. So then about a couple years later, in 2007, we purchased our home up here, one we're living in now. And at that time, I started carrying a stick, because ran into dogs. Got around on the other side of the lake, and there was a pit bull over there. And it stayed right at the end of my stick. Everywhere I moved, it moved. So I had to yell and scream. People came, helped me. So I changed the way I walked, and I started walking a different way. When I was walking right down our road, went down 2 houses, and there was a Rottweiler there. Came out, grabbed one of my little dogs. Fortunately, the vet said because I had the leash in one hand and held on tight, he couldn't shake him, and I had a little jacket on him, and so it protected him. And so it was okay, but once again, I changed the way I walked. So I walked another direction. When I was walking that way, another big dog came out that time. That was a pit bull on the other side of the lake. And I had purchased a gun and a permit, carry permit. And so I shot at it. It came charging at us, and I shot at it. And then I realized, I don't want to kill a dog. I love dogs, and I thought, man, how awful I would feel if I had killed that dog. So then I started going another way entirely. So every time I kept changing where I went, and there were more dogs. I walked across to from Collins Lake, our paths that go up to Howell Lake. I've run into dogs over there. I ran into another pit bull at the front of the lake that I ended up calling my husband from the fire station and having him come get me because I was afraid to walk by it. Very short time after that particular time, that same pit bull killed a little dog. There are too many dogs running loose. You can't walk. If you need to walk for your health, if you just need to walk, you can't. even by yourself without dogs, you can't walk in this county. I don't care if you go down to Belfair State Park. Everywhere I've gone, I've run into big dogs, and big dogs will go after people and little dogs pretty often, my vet said. So I'm just saying, I think we need a leash law. I've gotten you examples of leash laws of rural counties, not just big counties where they have lots of people, and I am just hoping that you will support that and get us a leash law in this county. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Yeah, I'm Biff Wendell, and I'm also from Collins Lake, and same problem. I walk around the lake pretty regularly. A few years ago, my wife and I were walking down to the South Beach on Collins Lake, and with our two little dogs, Doxy and what is it, Shih Tzu type dog, and two strange German Shepherds we'd never seen before. And we'd have been maybe a little more prepared if we knew about them, but they came charging out and they attacked these two dogs. And yeah, I think you've got a copy of that. And they pretty much mauled them pretty severely. The owner, the two owners were there, husband and wife, and they went after them, but I managed to get a kick in the side of the head of one of them that had Doxy in his mouth and was running off of it, and he dropped it. But so now I still go around the lake. We got another dog. These two dogs, by the way, survived, but with a huge vet bill, and they were tore up pretty bad. But now they have since passed away, and they lived a few years after that. But we got another dog, and I walk around the lake, and the same thing that Candy sees is the dogs are. I don't go around the lake without a big stick, and sometimes a little bit more. But if I've been approached by some of these big dogs that are really acting really vicious, and if an owner is around, I usually tell them, "You take care of your dog, or I will." And it'll be a lot better for you and your dog if you take care of it. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. But so yeah, I 100% support Candy's effort at getting a leash law. Need it badly. Need some kind of control. Since the sheriff's department now doesn't have an animal control officer, we need more help. And the leash law at least would help. Give them, when you have to call the police if there isn't a leash law, there's less that they can do, because they don't have laws that they can enforce. Anyhow, so yeah, it's a big problem, and I walk the dog almost daily, and I still run into these characters, but these people, and some of the people yell at their dogs, "Get in here," and all that stuff. It doesn't make any difference to the dogs, the way they're accustomed to operating. Anyway, I think we absolutely do need a leash law. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for, sure. Oh. Go ahead.
My name is Karen Bredhauer, and I live in District 1, and I do support the leash law. Candace did not tell you the whole story on her puppy. Her husband was walking their puppy, 8-month-old puppy, with a leash, and their dog was attacked and killed. The owner was also attacked. The sheriff's department can go after them for exiting off the private property, but they would have more leg to stand on if we had a leash law, because going on public property. I'm seeing and reading a lot of posts on children being attacked by dogs that's not on leash, people walking on trails being attacked because the other owners don't have their animals leashed. I think this is important, And I think our sheriff's department will support this and would have more ammo going after these vicious dogs that's attacking people and puppies. This family lost a puppy, 8 months old. And we need to start supporting our sheriff's department, supporting our county, and start changing these laws for animals under Title IV. You will see me in 4 or 5 months with more animal laws. We need to take control. We need to help our sheriff's department. We need to help you guys. And it's up to us for our community to present this to you guys and get your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you say 3 minutes or 30? I don't know. You probably don't get this much, but I'm thanking you on behalf of myself and other people for standing up for the 1639 position you've taken. I wish the sheriff was here. I would thank him as well. People don't understand. Most Americans, I think, are not very literate, let's say. This isn't a democracy. This is a constitutional republic. And Benjamin Franklin, 1759, said that a democracy is when you have 2 wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. And the problem with 1639 was that it was 60% statewide in favor of it, 40% against it, which means if 10% of the people had voted differently, this thing would have not passed. And I'll almost guarantee you that most citizens never got beyond the first paragraph, because that thing is very lengthy, very complicated, very convoluted. And I, for one, think you guys have done a great thing. People don't also realize that there's only one portion of this that took effect. That's the age 25, or pardon me, 21, where kids can't buy rifles of any kind. And all of your sporting goods dealers in this area, Walmart and the 2 local ones, Verl's and Renegade Guns, they started immediately following that part of the bill, which is fine. There's an awful lot of this stuff that's going to take effect July 1st. And what it's going to do is make it so that you can't defend yourself appropriately. It's reducing your ability to defend yourself, your family, your property. All of the restrictions on storage and the rest, most people that are conscious gun owners have safes. They have things locked up. They do things properly. Separating ammo and magazines and guns makes no sense. I met Randy 5 years ago. He doesn't remember, but I do. And also Mike Dorsey was there, and so was Sheriff Salisbury. And this was in Allen, and it was at a church, and we had a discussion about the Second Amendment, and when I got through, I was stunned. Because to a man, they said, we can't protect you. We can't stop what might happen to you. We'll come back afterward and we'll pick up the mess. Sheriff will come look for clues maybe and find somebody. Same with a fire. The fire people can't be there ahead of time. They can come afterward. So you got some insurance and the promise to come pick up the pieces later. I think Randy said that you got to remember this might be 150 years ago. You're out in the middle of some place. You need to protect your own property. You're the first line of defense for your family. And 1639 takes away a lot of the ability to do that. Discussion of dogs here recently. My wife and I walk, and we're sort of older people, and I don't go without a firearm. I have a concealed carry permit. I practice once or twice a week with it, so that it's a tool that I know how to use. And I have not had to shoot any dogs. I feel more confident, but the sheriff's been out twice in our neighborhood and has killed 2 dogs who were threats. But it doesn't stop me from walking, because that's what'll occur, isn't it? You decide to stay home. Well, the same when you've got issues like in downtown. If you can't be protected the way you feel you should be, you just don't go downtown. You don't go to Safeway in Belfair after 6 o'clock at night, because it starts to get dark. you're afraid to do things, then you restrict yourself. And this 1639 is going to make it so that more people will restrict themselves more often in more areas. And that's not right in this county either. One final comment, if I've still got 27 minutes. And that is that, you know, many of us who are advocates of the Second Amendment, we carry firearms at the appropriate places. We have concealed carry. We've passed the background checks time after time. The bad guys who are going to do damage to you or me, they don't give a damn what your laws are or what the requirements are. They're going to go get their guns in Tacoma in a side street someplace. They're going to steal them out of your house. They're going to get them whatever way they wish. Mike Dorsey, for example, told me that he was accosted and robbed in the parking lot right outside of his office. He's the prosecuting attorney. You'd think that the bad guys would at least leave him alone, right? Bad things can occur if he finds out who you really are. So I just wanted to thank you for the stand you've taken. I realize there's a lot of legal issues coming up, and I wish that everybody would have read would have read the bill before they voted on it, because I'll guarantee you practically everybody didn't read the full bill before they voted on it. Had they voted after reading the bill, I think it would have been a different outcome.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Good evening, County Commissioners,
Evening.
neighbors. My name is Steve Vandenover. I'm from Grapeview. And I'm not in favor of a leash law. The reason I'm not in favor of a leash law is because of what you said. Title IV of the Mason County Code says that if we have dangerous dogs, dangerous animals, that they take action on those dangerous animals and make movement on those dangerous animals and their owners to protect our neighbors and our communities. And it doesn't take a animal control officer to do that. It says in the code right here that anyone that has an issue with a dangerous dog that county commissioners have enforced by the county code takes a report, and there are steps to make sure that that dog is taken care of, or a dangerous animal. Not a dog, dangerous animal, can be anything. So if somebody's not doing their job based on the Mason County Code, then they need to be held to task. Make the report, learn the code, and hold them to the task. Whether it's not an animal control officer, or it's the sheriff's department, or a deputy, don't take the first answer that they give you. The code of Mason County says that they will take a report and follow with a second report and fine the owner or dispatch the dog or the dangerous animal. The code is already there. We don't need a leash law. We need enforcement of the current code, whether it be by animal control or by a deputy, because somebody is derelict in their duties. The code is there, and unfortunately, I own 10 acres in Grapeview, and I have a fence that keeps my dogs inside of it. But I do not agree in my rural county that we need a leash law. Make the owner of the animal, the steward of the animal, abide by the code that is already in this county, and those that are charged with enforcement, enforce the code. If they are derelict in those duties, then replace them, no matter at what level of dereliction, from the top or the ones riding behind the car. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
I wasn't going to do this. So, my name's Joe Ridlon, and I'm from Belfair. I'm looking at both sides of it, and on the leash law thing, we have a very rural county. We have a very large county. But we have, in that county, we have residential areas where you have a dense population in one area that, you know, you have a house next to a house next to a house, and in those residential areas you have homeowners associations. I think that in those areas, having a leash law might be a good idea. Where you have 10 acres, because I have 10 acres, and I don't keep my dog on a leash when I let him outside, but they don't leave the acreage either. But I think, you know, containment of an animal on your property is a good thing. On your ordinances, they were written in 1994, I believe, by a volunteer committee. I might suggest that we put another volunteer committee together and go over the ordinances. And I know there is the dangerous dog ordinance already in place, but times have changed since 1994. People's attitudes towards dogs have changed since 1994. If we could put another volunteer committee together and possibly, you know, go over the laws, add laws that are needed, add, you know, are not actually laws, ordinances that are needed, possibly strengthen some that aren't there, or, you know, strengthen some that are already there, put some in place that aren't there. That might be a good thing for you guys. So anyway, just my opinion. So
Thank you.
thanks.
Anyone else for public comment?
May I add a little bit? What is it?
Typically, if there's nobody, typically we don't.
Okay.
So, anybody else for public comment? Sure.
Commissioners, I too would like to thank you for your stance on 1639. It is a very, very tough constitutional problem, something that a certain section of the country does not understand why the Second Amendment was put in. It has been said that the amendments were put in an order of priority, and being that it was the second, I would like people to think about that if we didn't have the Second Amendment, we could very well be like Venezuela. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the open forum for citizen input and move on to our next item, number 6, which is adoption of tonight's agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda for February 26th.
I will second.
Moved and seconded to adopt the agenda for February 26th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Next item, number 7, approval of minutes. We have minutes from February 4th briefing, January 15th, February 5th, regular meeting minutes as well.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the minutes, February 4th, 2019 briefing minutes, January 15th and February 5th, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
A second?
It's moved and seconded to approve the February 4th, 2019 briefing minutes and the January 15th and February 5th, 2019 regular meeting minutes. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 8, so our action agenda for tonight. Commissioners will read through the items on tonight's action agenda, at which point an item can be, questions can be asked from both the public and the commission to determine if an item is to be removed for a separate discussion and vote. We'll read through them in order and then move on to that part. Commissioner Trask, if you'd please read item 8.1, Commissioner Netherland 8.2, and I will do 8.3.
Okay. 8.1, approval to set a public hearing on Tuesday, March 19th, 2019 at 9:15 a.m. to consider approval of budget amendments to the 2019 budget.
Mr. Chair, item number 8.2, approval to set a public hearing on Tuesday, March 12th, 2019, 9:15 a.m. to consider code amendment to Title 14, Chapter 14.17 to include regulations relating to fire apparatus access roads consistent with the International Fire Code.
And item 8.3, approval to amend resolution 05-19 to revise the non-represented salary scale range alignment, approving the request to realign the technical services manager from salary range 33 to salary range 40. Realign the jail lieutenant from salary range 35 to salary range 41, and realign the engineering and construction manager from salary range 35 to salary range 40, and place the incumbent engineering and construction manager at salary step 3. Commissioners, any clarifying questions or?
Yeah, I have one. Frank, item number 8.1. Usually when we set the public hearing, I thought we'd have a dollar amount.
It's on the draft, or the resolution that's included in the hearing
And
notification.
usually we include that in the statement though too, because this way we can't change and go above that amount.
I apologize, I didn't get the resolution until today, but I can,
Yeah.
you can look at it if you'd like.
Would you mind if we read it in for the?
Sure. Would you like to do that now or as part of the motion?
Well, it's up to you. I can read it in
Whatever,
there.
what do you
Okay.
think? Fine.
Budget amendment transfers, all we need is the totals. Total impact, 48,525 decrease the ending fund balance, 11,379 increase in ending fund balance for community service health fund 150, 111,379 decrease in ending fund balance community support services. So do you want me to do, usually we just do the totals. Do you have them?
Yes, I do. I thought it would be more clear to put the total budget impacts.
Okay.
But
I just meant
yes.
for the motion, usually we have the totals for the motion, that's the only thing. I'd hate for us to get caught in something simple like that. Because that's what, the number that we approve is one that has to go to paper.
I'm sorry, I don't have them.
Okay, I'll just read the rest of it then. Budget amendment transfers, $11,379 to increase community service fund, 150 ending fund balance to increase community service health fund, 150 revenue. $11,379 decrease to community support service fund, 117 ending fund balance, increase operating expense. 100,000 from community support service fund, 117 ending fund balance to housing authority expense. $25,382 from current expense non-departmental 001.300. Washington paid FMLA to various current expense departments. File with the county budget office. WA paid FMLA. 47,925 from current expense 001.320 ending fund balance to auditors elections department 001.030 various salary and benefit lines, and $600 from current expense 001.310 transfers out to Mason County LTGO 2013 bond fund 215 transfers in. Other than that, I've read all the other numbers into the record.
Thank you. Any items to be removed?
Don't do that one. Please.
Any questions or items to remove for a separate vote from the audience? Okay. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the action agenda as presented in its entirety.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve tonight's action agenda in its entirety. Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? And the motion carries. Item number 9, other business. Are there department heads or electeds who would like to address the commission? Okay. And we can move on to item number 10. We have a public hearing to sell surplus parcel number 22213-11-60030 on Bucktail View Road, and ask staff to come forward and brief.
Commissioners, there is a public hearing set today to sell the parcel that you had identified, 22213-11-60030 on Bucktail View Road. However, the prospective purchaser has asked for an extension to March 19th for a feasibility study, to complete a feasibility study. So I would ask that this be tabled until our March 19th action agenda.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we table this until the March 19th action agenda.
Second that.
Nope, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Until the March 19th regular meeting, of which time we'll finalize the hearing.
I'll second that.
Okay. It's
I keep thinking, I don't want them to leave because I want to talk to them afterwards. Don't know.
It's been moved and seconded to continue the public hearing for item 10.1 until March 19th.
Correct. Thank
Any
you.
additional discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. All opposed?
It's contagious.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm so intent on getting both of your votes recorded that I forget to vote myself. Okay, so we'll continue that until March 19th. And then moving on to item number 11, our board reports and calendars. Commissioner Elliott, if you wouldn't mind getting us started, and then
Yep.
Commissioner Trask, and I'll finish up.
We all had a meeting with WashDOT to discuss some of the things that are happening in our region. Basin Transit Authority meeting, EDC annual luncheon, Public Works. We met with them to talk about all the things that occurred during the storm. I also met with our director and a developer in regards to different issues that are happening up on the top of the hill up there in Belfair. We had a joint meeting with the Squaxin Island Tribe. I was at the Celebration of Life for dawn. I attended the North Mason Chamber Gala event. We had our briefings, then a joint meeting with the PAC. After this, I will have a North Mason Chamber luncheon I'll be attending. We will have a briefing regarding the jail and the jail opportunities. Port Orchard Mayor is having a kickoff for his reelection. I will be attending a function for Running Start. I'll be meeting with members of one of the political parties who would like to talk to me about a vote I took. I think I'm in trouble. That's the way it goes. Mason Transit Authority Building Committee, a celebration life for another gentleman that from my local area, Randy Sims, in case any of you are going to be there. Briefings. We'll also be meeting with the city manager. I have a pre-app for some development going up in North Mason, port meeting, and left board. That brings us back to our regular meeting.
Thank you. Commissioner Trask?
All right. Well, tomorrow we have a YMCA meeting in the morning, a Power the Purse meeting for Turning Point at noon, the jail briefing at 2, and then tomorrow night I have the Community Action Council and also the Legislative Steering Committee round table in Olympia. Then I will be in Olympia on the majority of the day on Thursday for the Legislative Steering Committee at the Capitol, the Area on Aging meeting in the afternoon, and then another Turning Point meeting that evening. And then on Friday I have another Turning Point meeting, and the Republican Women's Luncheon at noon. And then Saturday, Ted will be jumping in water for the polar bear plunge.
We'll be laughing and
Take pictures.
We'll post pictures
closer with his face. The pain will be.
as he comes in or
Yeah.
as he dives
do
in.
As he dives in, yeah.
And then Friday or Saturday night, we have a concert to benefit the YMCA. Seth Walker will be providing the music and the entertainment. And then that brings us to Monday on the 4th with the county briefing and a meeting with the new city manager for Shelton, Jeff Knighton, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Great, thank you. Just a couple quick items from last week. As was mentioned, we had a really good meeting with Squaxin Tribal Council last week, moving forward on an agreement to dismiss legal action against our comprehensive plan update and try to work more collaboratively with them going forward. Also, I had a really productive conference call with the Hood Canal Coordinating Council and a working group that was put together to talk about water quality and shellfish work. And so the Coordinating Council is beginning to plan a summit for later this year, which we'll get more information on as it goes forward, but bringing together growers and some different environmental folks as well as policymakers from the state level to talk about water quality in our region. Excited about that. Also had a really good follow-up meeting today with Jim Morrell from Peninsula Community Credit Union. He was instrumental in putting together a workforce housing summit in January, and so met with him today to talk about next steps. And is if you've ever been a part of something like that, for any reason, not just housing, but the summits are great, but it's the work that happens afterwards that becomes more important. And so working with him on appropriate next steps to get some policy and funding issues moving forward. Going forward this week, have our Housing and Behavioral Health Advisory Board meeting. I'll also be at the jail RFQ meeting this week, and I'll be meeting with the city manager as well, back from briefings, and our meeting on Tuesday. Okay, very good.
Pass that down.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, having gone through our agenda, move on to item number 12. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Moving to second that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, and we're adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.
That's Title IV for our code.